Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Cancer in the month of June 2018. Hello, Cancer. How are you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing well. Big apologies, Cancer, like I am doing with all the signs. This is an extremely late video. I'm trying to get back on track. I didn't want to leave you guys without any messages for June. So that's what this is here today. If you've seen my previous videos for April and May, you know that I do a 6-card spread. To save time, I've shuffled off camera and meditated off camera, and I've condensed this down to a 4-card spread. Still have the overall energy with an outcome. So what we'll do now is we'll flip your cards and we'll get into the reading, okay? And before I forget, happy birthday! June is when you guys get started, right? Yeah, you guys just started at the end of June, so most of July is your birthday, but for those early Cancers, happy birthday. All right, let's go. June 2018, where is Cancer, please? Here. Thank you. All right, Cancer. Start off your reading as the 3 of Pentacles coming in. So, you guys are... This is a card of work, right? This is a card of teamwork. This is a card of contractual agreements or seeking the advice of an expert. But I feel like this is slightly what's going on. I think like this has sort of been the peripheral for some of you, where maybe you know you need to be working on a specific task, or you need to sort of share the load with teammates. So that could be in work, that could be school, and even in the home, that could be something where, you know, you're just not pulling your weight around the house in terms of chores. And again, I think the feeling I get with this is that it should really be a priority, or definitely like in your top 3 or 5 things that you need to take care of. But it's not really that way for you, Cancer, I feel. I feel like you know the importance of the task at hand, or you know that this project, if you're in school and you're working on a team, you know that what you contribute is important, and you need the grade, or you need it, you need it for your GPA, or your teammates are depending on you, or even in work, you've got your own research to do. You've got your own elements that you need to take care of. You've got tons of emails you need to respond to, and you're not completely not doing it. It's not like you're sitting on your hands completely, but you certainly aren't. Like I said, it's not a priority. It's down the list. And I'm not sure that you should be doing that, because I think other people are relying on you. And you're kind of like not taking it seriously, or you're distracted, right? You're kind of maybe, and I'm saying you should, as if, I'm like, your parent or something, and I can't say that, but it's more of like you should in the sense of you've made an agreement, or you've gone to work on something, a project with someone, and so whenever you agree to work with someone, you agree to do your fair share. That's why I say should. What I'm feeling, though, is that many of you may have felt a little... You're distracted. And, especially in the sense of school or work, I think before this time period, whenever this hits for you, if this has already happened, I'm telling you something you already know, or this might be going on right now, but I think previous to this point, you've been really hard at work. You have been diligent previous to this point, okay? You have put in work, and you've put in the hours, and you've really, from your point of view, Cancer, you have worked really hard, and so you kind of want to rest for a minute. You kind of need like a little time out. You know what I mean? You need a little bit of a break. Is it spring break? No, school's out. I'm like, what? Spring break is like in spring. It's in summer. right now, Jay, so there's no spring break. But maybe that's sort of like what you're needing. Like maybe in terms of school, maybe you've taken summer courses and, all your other friends are, at home from college or out of high school, whatever, they're on their summer break in high school if you're that young. I don't think I have viewers that are that young, but still. So I think there's this feeling of you just need to rest. Like you need a moment to sort of like gather yourself together, get your head on straight and refocus. And like when I say you should, it doesn't feel like tomorrow this project is due or this report is due. It feels like it's down the line. And you could be working to kind of get it over with. You could finish early, but you're like, okay, we've got 2 weeks still. I'm going to relax. And your partners or your teammates are like, well, if we just do it now, we'll be done. And you're like, but it's not due for 2 weeks, or we don't have to do our presentation for 2 weeks, or when we go to the seminar in 2 weeks or the conference in 2 weeks, I'll be ready. I'm not going to be ready any moment before that. I'm going to take this time now to kind of relax and get myself ready for the big show, so to speak. Some of you might be doing that. Some of you might be going to like a trade show or, like I said, a conference or a seminar, and you might be actually giving presentations or setting up booths, whatever you're doing. And you eventually, like I said, before, I think you were really doing your work, and now you've kind of like slacked off, you're relaxing a little bit because, we're only human, we're not machines, right? You can't work 24/7, you can't work, 10, 12-hour days for 3 weeks straight. I mean, some people do that, but I don't know that they're necessarily happy people. And I think right now, Cancer, a lot of your focus is on being happy. A lot of your focus is on being happy. Because you've been here. You've been here with the strength reversed. Here, right? Yes, thank you. So this is where you've been. Where when the strength is in reverse, it doesn't necessarily speak to cowardice or being weak or anything like that. I think it speaks, in this particular case for you, Cancer, it's speaking to like a lack of focus or an inability to focus. Not a lack of, but an inability to focus. Like maybe you have been on top of the emails. Maybe you have been conducting research and doing interviews and typing up reports and typing up papers and making infographics and all that kind of stuff. Maybe you've been doing it, but it hasn't been your best product. It hasn't been the best thing that you've ever created in terms of your work or school creations, we'll say. Okay? And when the strength is upright, like you have distinct control over your vices, you have distinct control over your shortcomings, and you have distinct control over sort of like those antsy and sort of visceral reactions that can be associated with the strength card, because this is about taming the beast. Like the woman tames the beast. When it's like this, the beast is not being tamed, and the woman isn't really trying her best to tame the beast, right? So I think because you've worked so hard up until this point, because you were putting in 100%, 110%, 120%, whatever, that burns anybody out if you do that consistently enough. If you do that for long enough a period of time, that's eventually going to wear your nerves raw. And you're going to kind of come to this breaking point where it's like, I'm not doing that anymore. Or you just can't. Not even like a conscious decision. You just can't. It's sort of like what's coming to my mind now. I wish you could see it. Is like over the years I've read and seen documentaries about sleep. And it confounds scientists. Little side note here. It still confounds scientists as to why we need sleep. I believe it's like It's a combination of a physical need, but then it's also like a biochemical need, I believe. But regardless think of it that way. If you pull an all-nighter, if you take yourself back to school days, if this applies just to your work life, or as you're in school now, think of when you took an all-nighter, or you know someone who did. How well did they function if they stayed up for a full day? 24 hours, 29 hours, 36 hours, 40 hours. They don't function well. When you keep going and going and going, nobody here is the Energizer Bunny, right? So the more you push yourself, Cancer, the more you need to rest, is what I'm saying. And you're aware of that. Your teammates, your project mates or whatever, coworkers, whoever it is, they might not recognize that. They might not value that or feel that you, quote unquote, earned it. But I think what you're doing, Cancer, is you're prioritizing your health and your mental wellness and your stability and your balance, right? Because if you continue down this road, you're not going to be able to go and give the presentation with full energy. You're not going to be able to deliver the message with cohesive language. You're just going to be a mess. So you need to sort of take a rest and relax, okay? And that's here in the Three of Cups. Like, I say rest, and it depends on how you define rest. Some of us, out there in the world, rest is literally going to sleep and literally, catching up on sleep at the weekend, or taking a mental health day and sort of just vegging out at home. For others, rest means going out and socializing. And for some of you, that's what you would choose to do. You choose to go out, see friends, go to parties, go to dinners, whatever it is, because you haven't done that. If you've been working late at the office, or like I said, pulling all-nighters, staying up in the study halls and libraries at your school, you haven't really seen people in a social atmosphere that was fun. And that's what you're seeking right now, regardless of how you get it. Sleeping, catching up on sleep, that's fun for some people, by the way. Extensive naps, long sleeps, that's a lot of fun for a lot of people. But for other people, it's going out and socializing, it's going out to dinner with friends or family or whoever, it's going out on dates. For others, it's going out to the club, dancing all night. For others, it's like going to see a movie. Whatever it is, you are in need of some R&R. When you get that, Cancer, you get to be the judge. You get to be the Judgment card. You get into the energy of the Judgment card. Okay, so Judgment is about revitalization. It's about rebirth. It's about basically calling up the dead, which was you, because you're so overworked and you're so tired. Okay, so it's about pulling what was dead out of the ground, or calling what was dead out of the ground, right? A resurrection. And this is very insular. This is very contained. This is something which is definitely part of you, Cancer, being insular and contained within the self. But this is definitely focused on your own energy. Like a little bit, you see other people here in the Three of Pentacles and the Three of Cups, friends or coworkers or whoever, workmates, whoever it is. But the concern here is you, Cancer, and it's your season. Right? Like it's your birthday season. It's your solar return. And when you get into solar returns, what I've noticed is for a while, especially leading up to, and I believe last Friday, the 22nd, was the first day of Cancer's, of your guys' solar return. So leading up to the 22nd, you probably have been going through some type of transformation, some type of realization, some type of upheaval or reinvention or reinvestment, whatever, where you sit back, you look at your life, you look at the last year of your life, or even last couple of years, whatever you're doing, and you're like cataloging what you've been through, and then simultaneously you're looking at what you're doing now and what you're going to do in the future. And when it gets to be the solar return, again, I'm noticing this as a pattern with people I know and people I've read for, is big decisions happen, big changes happen, or there's a big need for something to be worked through or exercised through. So, you've been working hard, right? You've dedicated yourself to a project, or you've dedicated yourself to your work, whatever it is, and you're going to see it through. But just before it's go time, before you give the presentation, before you stand up in front of the audience and deliver your speech or deliver whatever you're doing, you need to get in touch with the fun side of Cancer. The work side of you has been going full force, right? You've been pushing yourself. You've been, like I said, doing extra hours at work. You've been staying late. You've been taking on new roles at your job that don't even belong to you, wasn't even in your job description, but here you are doing these new elements of the business. And in the midst of that, to prevent yourself from going crazy, to prevent yourself from having some kind of mental breakdown or emotional breakdown, you need a release. And once you release, you get to be reborn, right? Right. This is a very specific reading. I find it interesting that I kind of have to remind myself to say this in these videos, but it's like, okay, this is a very specific message because there's only one storyline that I'm seeing here. And so that's not going to resonate with everybody. On top of that, it's a general message. So like I said, it might be a work thing, it might be a school thing, it could be a relationship thing or a thing within the home. Maybe you've moved recently, and you have to, or you've started renovations on a house, but, you've been doing it over the past couple of weeks or months or whatever, and it's tiring you out. You just want to relax. You just want to kick your feet up, drink a beer, watch some TV. Maybe. So, my point in saying that is, if this doesn't resonate with you, I apologize. I'll be back very shortly to do your videos for July. But for those where this is hitting, and this is like making a connection with you, the reason like this is here, and I really feel it's heavily like a school thing or a work thing, or something about your development. You're attaining you're working towards a new level in something. So you're on this project within your work. You're on this particular team in your work, this development team in your work, so that eventually it will lead to a promotion, or eventually it will open it up within your industry or even within your company for you to take on a different role, okay? If this is school, obviously this goes towards your degree or your certification or whatever it is. All of this is is an act of cultivation, okay? You're developing yourself as you're working really hard on this specific project or on this specific task, okay? And you recognize the depth or the breadth of this opportunity, of this task. You don't take it lightly. Like the Three of Cups it's like a little timeout. Like I said, it's like a mini vacation. Maybe that's what you're going to do. Maybe some of you will take like a mini vacation, a weekend away or something like that, where you unplug from the world. You put your phone on airplane mode, no Wi-Fi, and you just get back to nature sort of thing, right? Whatever you're doing. But it's all to serve what's in the outcome, which is the World card. And I just mentioned travel, and the World is a card that can indicate travel. So some of you, maybe you're working for a very specific goal. Like maybe some of you are in sales, where oftentimes a lot of companies will give bonuses or rewards for people who do the best performance. So maybe what's on the line is a nice little vacation. And you're like, I want that vacation. I want it bad. So I'm going to work really hard, take a little break, but eventually I'm going to get back and I'm going to earn this vacation. I'm going to win the bonus, right? But regardless of how specific it is, the point here is, with the World card, we're talking about chapters ending, chapters wrapping up. We're talking about significant moves from one phase to another within your life. Okay? You're maturing. This is also a maturing phase for you, or a maturing experience for you. And maybe that has to do with why it's been so hard or so challenging for you. Because again, I know that there are other people involved in this, but I don't know how much they're affecting you. But because the world indicates growth and changes and phasing from one stage of your life to another stage, this might have been the first time you've had to work so extensively on a project with a certain amount of people or a particular person. And maybe there was like some struggle while you guys were working together, right? We hope all partnerships are amicable. We hope that when we get assigned a group project in school, that everybody's going to do their fair share and nobody's going to pull the weight of other people. And maybe you're the one who's maturing. Like maybe other people have felt they had to pick up the slack because of you, Cancer. But I think that you know that after this specific experience, you're going to be a different person. Whether or not you're actually learning something technical or learning something that can be applied to your job and has actual application and impact on what you do in the day-to-day. Bigger than that, Cancer, I think you know that this has taught you more in terms of like social skills, in terms of interpersonal skills and communication, things like this. And that's important to you right now, Cancer. This is coming out two ways. That's coming out sort of like in a personal, developmental way, being able to increase how you connect with other people, or not emphasize, but what do you call that? Enhance. Thank you. Emphasize. Enhance. Thank you. You want to enhance the way that you connect with other people. That's important. And I think that'll happen with the World card because, like I said, it's a phasing, it's a moving from one phase to another. Additionally, this applies to those of you more specifically in work, you've got the Ten of Pentacles as your overall energy here. Legacy. Leaving your mark on the world. And long-term stability. Enough stability to maintain a household, to maintain future generations. Like, I mean, that's big time legacy, right? And some of you might be doing that. Some of you might be in industries or working jobs where, if you land this deal or once this conference is over and you get a certain contract, under your belt, you're set up. You and your kids and your grandkids, once the ink is dry, you guys are set up. So for some of you, that might be the case. But the general feel here is that you're working with a purpose, Cancer. You have a very distinct purpose in what you're doing. The headaches that you're experiencing now, the rewrites and the editing and the late nights, all of that is circumstantial. What comes out in the end is the World card and how it affects the Ten of Pentacles and how that's setting you up for something further down the line. And Cancer, you're a sign that's not known for that, really. And if you are known for it, it's more of like on the side of the emotions, right? Because you're a water sign. So you deal with emotions, you deal with things that are heart-centered. But right now, you're definitely heavy in the Pentacles. Just money on your mind on your money, money on your mind, right? I don't know how old that reference is, but that's essentially what's going on here. You want to have an easier life than you do now, or that you had previously. You just want to see a path forward that almost guarantees success. But but for right now, the amount of work it's taking, or the amount of work that it has taken up to this point, has been really arduous, has been really trying, has been really, really tiresome to you. And you just want a small break. Like I said, maybe a weekend away, Maybe even just one day, a mental health day. You call into your boss, look Bill or Bob or Jim or whoever. Sorry, your boss could also be named Mary, Sarah, or Tamika. Who knows? But you call your boss and you're just like, look, I just need a day. Just one day. I can't come in. I'm not going to have remote access. Just, I need a break. I need a pause. Just a pause moment. Because your goal is still here and here. And I think your goal is still the strength card, but of course you would want to see that in the upright position. So it's just a momentary lapse here, Cancer. A momentary lapse for the sake of your health, for the sake of your mental health, for the sake of your sanity, for the sake of your physical body for some of you. Like I said, if you deprive your body of sleep, eventually your motor skills will go, your mental skills and comprehension will go. It's really weird. So that's what's going on here. Just a momentary lapse on this big journey, or this along this pathway towards success that you're setting yourself up for. Okay? Yeah, nice. All right, Cancer, that'll do it for your reading for June. Again, I apologize for how late this was. Please forgive me. Excuse me. But if you like what you saw here, if it resonated, leave comments, like the video, share, and subscribe if you choose to. If you don't want to do any of that stuff, it's totally okay too. And I will be back in probably about a week or so, and I will have your messages for July at that time. Thank you so much for watching, Cancer. Take care. Bye.